These are the 5 audiobooks I recommend if you've been looking to get into some sci-fi. These books are perfect for beginners. You don't need a PhD to understand what's going on. There's no technobabble, and most importantly, these are good, fun stories. Oh, and by the end of the video, I'll also share my simple but foolproof method for finding more audiobooks you'll love. So you can start with these 5 books and then discover plenty more using this method. Let's dive in. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a classic, for good reason. The book is narrated by Stephen Fry, and if you've never heard Fry's voice work, you're in for a treat. He delivers Douglas Adams' brilliantly absurd humor with the perfect dry British wit it deserves. The book follows Arthur Dent, whose house and planet are both demolished on the same day, sending him on an improbable adventure through space. And you thought your Mondays were rough. And what exactly makes this an ideal starting point? Well, it's a sci-fi that doesn't take itself too seriously. The humor is brilliant, the technology isn't explained in excruciating detail, and Fry's narration carries you through the cosmic craziness with such charm that you'll forget you're listening to a story. You'll feel like you're a part of it. I guarantee you'll love it. Next up is Old Man's War by John Scalzi, narrated by William DeFries. This book follows 75-year-old John Perry. He joins the Colonial Defense Forces, who only recruit the elderly before giving them new and enhanced bodies to go fight in interstellar wars. This book is a great starting point because of its innovative premise. Old people transferring bodies to go to space? That's a really cool concept. You might also find plenty of similarities with Avatar, the movie, both in terms of themes and in ideas. So if you enjoyed Avatar, you'll enjoy Old Man's War too. But also keep in mind that this book came out long before the movie. What's also really interesting about the audiobook, and this just might be my imagination, but it seems that DeFries manages to transform his voice throughout the story as the protagonist himself transforms. He begins with sort of an elderly cadence and then subtly shifts as Perry's body changes. Awesome stuff. You might have heard of World War Z as the zombie movie with Brad Pitt. Well, that movie was based on this book, but for some reason it is completely different from the source material. Anyway, this book isn't exactly sci-fi, but I still think it's great for people who are new to these types of fantastical stories. The really cool thing is that this audiobook isn't narrated by a single narrator, but by a full cast instead, which also includes some famous actors. It's structured as a series of interviews with survivors from a global zombie apocalypse, and each new voice brings a different perspective and emotional experience. This is perfect for audiobook newcomers because it's essentially a radio play. The full cast production means you're never listening to one narrator for too long, preventing the ear fatigue that can happen when you're not used to audiobooks. Each interview is also a self-contained story, making it easy to listen in chunks. If you've come this far in the video, maybe stroke my ego for a second and hit that subscribe button. It will make my day. And my therapist says I need the validation. Anyway. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen me recommend Dungeon Crawler Carl. While the book itself is awesome, I think the best way to experience this story is through the audiobook, narrated by Jeff Hayes. In this book, Earth has been turned into a deadly dungeon game show for alien entertainment, and Carl and his talking cat Princess Donut must survive increasingly absurd challenges. It is a lit RPG, which means that the characters use game mechanics. They earn experience, level up, distribute upgrade points, have an inventory system, etc. If you love games, you'll be right at home. But even if you don't, you'll have no problems following what's going on. Hayes performs an absolute masterclass in voice acting here, handling dozens of characters, each with a distinct voice. Also, it's legitimately hilarious, especially if you love crass humor. It's the audiobook equivalent of that friend who always makes you laugh at inappropriate moments. You'll love it. We Are Legion, We Are Bob, narrated by Ray Porter, is actually the book that got me hooked to listening to audiobooks. It follows a software engineer called Bob, whose consciousness is uploaded into a self-replicating space probe, leading to many copies of Bob, each with a distinctive personality, out there exploring the universe. I love this book because it's a cozy sci-fi story with some really cool and innovative concepts that will have you thinking about long after you actually finish the book. But Porter's delivery is definitely the star here. He manages to give each Bob a distinctive voice and personality while still making it clear that they are variations on the same person. The protagonist also approaches space exploration with practical problem solving rather than mystical technobabble, making it accessible even if you've never considered yourself a sci-fi fan. At the beginning of the video, I also promised you a foolproof way of finding new audiobooks that you're going to love. And here it is. And no, it's not breaking into others' homes and demanding that they read to you personally. Try that. Doesn't work. Most people, after finishing an audiobook that they liked, will check out other books by the same author or find similar books on Goodreads. Those methods definitely work. But what I recommend you do instead is check out other books by the same narrators. I love doing this because the narrators are a big contributor to what makes an audiobook great. So if you enjoy someone's performance, definitely check out more of their work. For example, if you enjoyed We Are Legion, We Are Bob, you can check out other books narrated by Ray Porter. If you simply click his name, you'll see that he has also done Project Hail Mary, another easy recommendation from me. There you have it, 5 audiobook recommendations, plus the method I used to find more great books. If you give any of these books a try, let me know. And I also wouldn't mind if you give me your recommendations in the comments below. My TBR pile is already taller than I am, but that's never stopped me before. Talk to you soon. Peace!